Hey everyone, it's Jack here. Unfortunately, the footage for our most recent session of University for Destined Adventurers for Comfort and Cantrips was not able to properly record all of the footage we got. It's only about half an hour. To that end, and for the sake of putting out another video, I've decided to summarize the events of that day in character as Muradin. Thank you, and on with the show. The Diary of Muradin Ironhammer, son of Torgar. Date, Zol, 2nd of Ron. After a few mixed quality classes that were alternately boring, but interesting, or interesting, but prone to eliciting mixed feelings from me, I found myself walking home with my erstwhile companions and roommates. It seems that our Goliath, who is also mute, has a long, giantish name that he cannot communicate to us, and so he is simply called Bear, to us at least. Anyway, he was in communication with our other roommate, Draco. I am not fond of that man. Boy, whatever he is difficult, and it seems the only reason he sticks around with us is for the chance to show off. Still, he communicates with Bear, since he understands giant sign language, which makes Bear quite fond of him. This is the only reason I can think of for why he would be fond of him. At any rate, Bear, communicating mentally and physically, told us about extracurricular clubs that the school hosts. How interesting. I admit, I am fond of the idea, but these clubs are, of course, of mixed quality in any educational institute, even one as prestigious as University for Destined Adventurers. Anyway, back at the room he told us about them. It seems that, at least as far as I'm concerned, the most interesting are the Racing Club and the Dragon Chess. The others have some interesting ones, or rather interesting ideas for what they would like to do. Bear, it seems, is excited for a rather competitive and physical sport. I cannot pronounce it. It begins with a HR, but it is only pronounced with an R. Anyway, it seems he is very well built for it, as a Goliath. Now that I am finishing this entry, I find it is a good night to contemplate all that I have gone through so far. The dungeoneering, the mixed batch of experience with my party members, the bard Kel, whose sword I repaired, the Lady Tempest, who seems very well spoken and rather clever, and nooks. I don't know what to think of nooks. They are unusual and seem very challenged with social situations. Date, Weir, 3rd of Ron. It was a day off from classes today. It seems the university put this time aside for us to seek our extracurricular clubs. And, to be fair, they all put in the effort, They set out stalls and statues and stands, all to convince us to join. Our group all wanted different things, and with a variety of signs and postings, we soon found what we were looking for. I myself went after the racing club. I had heard of it from Bear, and it sounded very interesting. Oh, sure, it wasn't particularly in line with my usual pursuits, but it's also well known in the social circles of the upper class that racing is a sport to be respected, and if nothing else, I was eager to see what exactly it was involved with, and I was not disappointed. Traditionally, this club, it seems, was all about mounts, griffins and horses and such like. Very interesting, if you haven't lived around those things all your life. I have. What really caught my eye was one of the club's members, a dragonborn, was making his own mount, made of metal. A motorbike, he said. Had been building it all his life. A fascinating construction. One that I would be very interested in making for myself, or if nothing else, purchasing from a merchant. I'm sure Father will provide me whatever I need, regardless, be it made of stone or steel. I am very excited, if slightly intimidated, by the prospect of a project to make and furnish and temper my own steel steed. But I was not the only one. Tempest, apparently, had quite a bit of success with the drama and theatre club. I was to learn later that this club and the Dragon Chest Club were both deeply involved with each other for reasons that still escape me, but I'm sure she will be happy. Kel has entered himself into the Fine Arts Society. It seems they did not take kindly to his presence. Pompous nobles, they all think the same. Oh, we are so much better because our ancestors built a water clock 5 years ago, and their ancestors were dirt-poor scrabblers trying to make it at the bottom. I told him afterwards that, if necessary, I would pay him for him. Well, I would not pay him, but I would pay for his expenses myself, or my family would, in exchange for me bringing him to meet them, or some other minor favor. If nothing else, it is the opportunity to help out, and that is, in its own way, a strong reason to do anything. Finally, Nux. Nux is involved in the fantastical horticultural society. It seems to be a very small club, based out of a large greenhouse. Very interesting plants they described. Not my area of expertise or interest, but they seem rather taken with it. Well, far be it from me to take that away from them. And then something very strange and annoying happened. A grand announcement brought us all to the campus gift shop. It seems there was a competition, a dungeon crawl, in which we would all compete in groups of 4 for a stuffed owlbear plushie. Magical, but still a rather minor thing, even by the standards of my upbringing. Still, I noticed Tempest was rather taken with it, so we decided to pitch in. And rather annoyingly, it seems Bear and Draco were also entered as part of another team. Well, I suppose we can't always work together with them. In any case, the first thing we had to do was fight an iron defender. I led with an iron defender's worst weakness, electricity, shocking grasp, ensuring the accuracy of my strike and preventing it from attacking anyone else. It had no easy reaction. It reached out and bit me hard. Even in my plate armor, it was a difficult blow to take. Still, the others fought valiantly as well, and ultimately we defeated it. The next room contained a gargoyle. Gugh. Most of my spells were not very effective against it, so I opted to use catapult on it, launching a spare bit of iron right at it. It took the damage, but it inflicted it right back on me. I'm beginning to sincerely wish I had upgraded this thing for stealth rather than defense. It is a very annoying thing when monsters are somehow able to penetrate it. But in the end, we defeated it, and so we moved on to, of all things, a mage hunter. And let me tell you, Diary, this was the worst possible thing they could have placed in front of us. Everyone in my party, save, well, all of them. I would say save Bear, but he wasn't technically in our party at that time. Regardless, the fact that we were all spellcasters of some stripe left us with very few options that were of use. Despite coming very close to death multiple times, I found that it was the best possible outcome for us to win. And so we did. And we broke through just ahead of Bear's group to win, again, a magical stuffed owlbear plushie. I am pleased that Tempest found it worthwhile. I, for one, feel very shortchanged that all I got out of it was a damaged set of armor. This will take some time to repair. At any rate, it was after that we went to find our next clubs. I went to the Dragon Chess Club, and it is there that I learned, as Tempest did, that the theater group was involved. They wanted to dress up as dragon chess pieces and act out the battles. Not in the sense that they would actually strike each other. Apparently, that was what the live-action role-playing club wanted to do, and that's why the theater club were chosen. Why anyone would want to dress up as such exquisite pieces when any costume could not be a patch on the original is utterly beyond me. Fortunately, it seems they do have more traditional matches, and for that I am grateful, because I have no wish to be anywhere near such nonsense in future. Tempest went to the cheer squad. Had a bit of trouble, it seems, with the head cheerleader. I'm not sure what went wrong. She didn't say, though it seems Draco found it amusing. I suppose even in an environment where all people are equal, there are still elitists to be found. Well, Kel found a place that was more suited to someone of his talents. Show band. He plays a number of instruments. I'm sure he will be quite happy with them. And finally Nooks. They went to the Dead Languages Society. Apparently, they were looking at something in ancient Dwarfish. My family would pay a fortune for such a thing. Best I do not tell them about it then, because they would absolutely try to acquire it. It was then we all went back to the dorms. And seeing as I was not in a good mood, I spared them the tirade I wanted to unleash and simply went to my room for tinkering. But, of course, it did not last long. And that is where I sit,